You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the March 20th, 2024 meeting of the Long Beach Human Resources Committee. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Call to order the HR Committee, Town of Long Beach, March 20th, 2024. Any opening remarks? None. Right? No public comment at the moment. Anyone on Zoom? Chief, is anybody there?
Chief does.
Okay,
Of course.
great. Then so should we move into unfinished business, which is, I threw in there, how's everyone doing with Teams and it being set up, and how is it working? And if so, do we need to get some help it was the best collaboration tool I could think of where we've all had to be in a document working together. That's only for books.
I'm having problems, and again, I'm having problems with my internet, with Xfinity. It came out yesterday. They only want to get home.
Okay,
So we're told that, is ruining, then I might have some issues. I can't get the password, because it sends me to another email when to retrieve the link. And I don't know who that person is.
Do you need the Microsoft Outlook email in order to use it? And do you have an Outlook email? I wonder.
I think for me, it works on Town of Long Beach. It's a connection, it's an extension of
I don't
that.
think Georgetta has, yeah, she doesn't have it, so I wonder if that's part of the problem.
Now, I'm signed up, with Howard, and they have, personal, accounts. But I think it's confusing and links me up with, I think, your account. And won't, it's shutting me out.
Yeah, you have to have, I believe, you have to use the Long Beach.
Mark, does it make sense because she's on a committee to get her an email? Okay, so Georgetta, if you are interested in having a town email address, I could help you get it set up either on your phone or on your computer if you were able to stop in and we could go through and I can show you how to navigate.
Yeah, because
And then,
that license, that should bring it into our Teams environment.
Right.
I'll make an appointment.
sure, that'd be great. That's just, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That's what,
And that's my first time using it, but it seems really user friendly. Mike, I did see your message, but not until you were probably not in there. So if there's messages, do you just respond and you check them when you check them?
yeah,
If someone messaged me, so I should respond and Mike would see it. Yeah,
so yeah, for me, the chat function, you have to be signed in.
for it to be real time.
See all the comments you made to my comments, so that's that.
And I'm pretty much logged in all day long. Now, whether I just need to learn what it tells me, if it gives me an indication that someone messaged me or not.
Because I said,
That part I'm not as familiar with yet, but
So, but other than that, I think it's the way to go. We can all work in the same document, you put notes in.
and I was able to read through all your comments, which is nice.
It's a good
that.
collaboration.
good.
Documents.
Yeah, we can get, and that's what it worked.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I know
Am I here? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just wanted to check in on that. Last piece of unfinished business, which I don't think, it's just on the agenda that we will get to in time as we put the schedule of our monthly, sections that we'll cover is the employee handbook, section around compensation. We kind of started there. We'll get to it in time. So from that being said, let's jump in. This is an hour meeting. And depending on conversation, I thought we would get these first 4 sections kicked off. If we get through 2, we'll put the other ones on unfinished business and just keep going through. And then, unless anyone has any objection, I thought was that we would kind of agree with the comments we would have collectively. And then present the council with a draft with our changes to the clean version so they could see that, what our recommendations are. Does that sound good as a way forward? Okay.
Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we're not suggesting a policy changes, all we're saying is how can it be more friendly, user friendly?
Yeah, I mean, that to some extent, if there's clarification issues or as Meg and Chief want things, because they're the ones who have to use this with employees on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Some of it was clarification purposes, some of it's how it reads.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump in with section introduction, is the statement of purpose. Give everybody a
Okay,
schedule.
so here it is now, is somebody sharing one document or are we all in our own? Or is it change as we go through here?
Yeah, it'll be live.
Oh, great, okay.
Or we can change it. The changes that either of you made are in there, and then anything we change today will be saved, right?
Yes,
That's how it works?
it's live.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to just talk, comment comes up, we talk about it, we just delete the comment and move on.
Okay.
So, Georgette, have you had a chance to review this? Do you need to take a second just to kind of review everyone's comments in the introduction?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's do, we will,
Just ask.
Yeah.
Would be more.
section by section, we'll just do it.
Mhm.
We'll do the introductory section, give everybody a chance to review it.
So we're just on that first part,
Just the
that
intro,
statement of purpose
statement of intro, and the rest of the.
and the intro. Please.
So this is looking for a second.
Intro, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, page 4.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Shall we start? Everybody have enough time?
Yes.
The first change, statement of purpose, this is just, I made this change, this was just a grammatical change that the software picked up, there's nothing more about it than that. The next change highlighted in yellow. Is there any reason for discussing this? This seems,
There's 2 seconds, no.
yeah, first,
So the discrepancy is between the whole council and in the second sentence, it says signed by president of the town council,
Right.
right?
Seems like there's 2 different,
hold on, okay. Okay, now I see the two yellow are connected, understood that.
yeah, so the person says,
So you're just looking to change those so they match, correct?
right, or take one off.
They are a bit same thing if you change.
I think that to me it reads, right, rules to these rules and conditions of employment as set forth herein shall be presented to the town committee for consideration and change it as only one majority. Okay.
Right, so that, I think that's good. Then I don't know whether, so the other one. In writing and signed by the president of the council, so. I don't know, remove the second.
I think at a minimum, we could remove the second sentence of the second one. It depends if we want, if that sentence stating that makes that all clearer.
I agree. Just remove that second sentence.
The one for any such modification, that one.
Yeah, remove that whole
That's
sentence.
self-explanatory in the top paragraph.
So. I would do, so now highlight, someone got to highlight it and then say remove.
So JD's in there. Do you see him?
Yeah.
I just deleted it.
Okay, and now, where is it, there should be a button on the left hand side, that's in the leader, you could have. Okay, so if you click on it, it says accept or reject suggestion, right?
Yeah, we're gonna leave, if we accept it, it'll actually modify the document.
Yes.
Where then the council will not be able to then see what we've done. Up in the right-hand corner where it says markup view, is you can change that to the complete view.
Yeah.
And that's where it'll be gone.
Yeah.
So I don't plan for us to accept, these are kind of a recommendation. Does that make sense?
We need the redlined version for them to accept.
But it's not in the wall, we don't want it, we can just get rid of it, right?
We can't modify, I would recommend this, this isn't advice, this is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because I want to affect things. Sure. And if we all say, if we go, then we're not going to do it. We should believe it, so it doesn't confuse us.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, any of our own additions, sure.
Yeah.
If we're modifying language that is within the document. So I got rid of that, and I'm going to hopefully get rid of the highlights. Right? And then the comments.
So my comment can be, it can say result, it can say result, right?
Correct, or we can delete it all. It was part of the,
Yeah. What,
I'd say it's deleted.
Mike, do you want to turn the mic on?
yes,
Since, just, because it's been recorded.
Okay, that's been deleted.
Okay. Yeah,
For this week.
yes, yeah, correct. Mhm. Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay, the next one was my comment. Various departments of the town have established partnership relations. Is that how things actually work? Is that any change to department, what's going on in the department, any policy changes come before the council? Not really the discretion of,
Not necessarily. I mean, if it's necessarily like a rule change, maybe, but day-to-day operations type things don't go before the council.
that's what this, to me, this reads like everything has to be.
Right. Which makes no sense.
Are we under employee handbook? That part?
We're just in my comments here, the various departments.
I was ahead, sorry.
I'm just wondering, is the last couple sentences, anything past department policies are meant to provide clarification about the respective department? Is the rest of it even necessary? Seems to be overly.
Yeah, because it's referring, the policies in the handbook have to be approved by the council, but not individual department per se policies and that. So a lot of that could probably come out of there.
Is it simply just saying that department heads have the ability to bring up something they want amended or changed? That's essentially what it's saying.
I mean, I think so, but not only.
And is that necessary to even say?
But Mark, you've got a whole book of policies and practices for the law enforcement people, right?
Yes, we do.
It's not in this handbook.
No,
So, and we don't want it in this handbook.
no. What I do is I send them out as either a general order or a standard operating, like an SOP, standard operating policy. And then when I send it out, right now I'm using our Police One platform through the cloud, which is our training platform that we pay for annually. I'll put the policy on there. I'll require our officers to read the policy. They then have to acknowledge it through that, and then I can track it. So if they ever try to say, I didn't know about the policy, well, that's incorrect because it was sent out to you in the training platform and you acknowledged it through the training platform. That's how I kind of get my acknowledgements on that. But yeah, I don't run those by the council.
Right. Thank goodness. Or as if I put an example in there, if the street department wants to have a policy about when they mosquito spray, you're not gonna take that to the town council. So what is this trying to get at, do you think?
Well, I'm just wondering if, like, I see two sentences here. Does the first sentence need modification? That who should be distributing policies? And writing policies, department heads?
I would say so, yes.
Yes, they should, yes, yes, it's not, yeah.
And then I'm just wondering,
Yes, we can see as you're typing.
as prescribed by the department heads, and cut the rest of that sentence. Cut the rest of that sentence.
Yeah.
So he's just typed in. That's what's driving.
Yeah, take all that out.
Yes, that seems to make sense, yeah,
I agree.
okay.
Okay. I just made the clarification here that it really just applies to everybody here. Just reading more. I'm just reading your comment here.
Or into employee handbook. Correct.
So onto the code portion.
The one that says the new adopted rules should be made. That one, which comment?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so if it's police ones that Mark has, how does that? And if it's other ones that a department had made, I'm not sure how to adapt this. Or not adapt, but implement it.
So
And do we? I mean, we have all the, we have resolutions and ordinances. Is that different than this though? If it's just what did we call it above? If it's a
well,
rule or regulation, departmental rule or regulation, council has a privilege.
so I'm just thinking about really around employment agreements. If there's something in an employee's employment
Right.
that is more restrictive, it's saying that
Or more liberal.
That takes,
Yeah.
that gets justice.
mhm.
Is there an issue with that?
And it should be reflected in the handbook.
The adopted policies or agreements shall apply. They adopt further, more specific, more detailed policies, employment agreements that is.
That will supersede the handbook.
Well, why would you say, and shall apply, and should be amendments to our handbook, and should be added to the handbook.
Even if it's just one person's employment.
Oh, no. I'm thinking about different work rules or something.
Do you think that this is covering what you're bringing up,
Yeah, I just say, it just says, my point is,
GD?
the adopted policies and agreement shall apply. Well, but I just talk about individuals. Instantly, the council has approved and adopted further more specific, more detailed policies or employment agreements governing specific offices and departments, classes of employees.
Or individual employees.
Oh, see, well.
Guess what's an example of this for my own education?
Well,
I understand why it could be necessary. I'm just,
the first thing that comes to my mind is if somebody negotiates more PTO.
Yes, but,
Right, just as simple.
yeah,
that's outside.
that doesn't seem, yeah, right. So that obviously we wouldn't want it here. But if one group of employees got more PTO than another, that should be reflected in.
Correct, and the PTO, the PTO language is straightforward with the amount.
Yeah.
The previous.
So the part here is this individual employee. If that wasn't in there, then we would say those policies and agreements we would put into the. Maybe it doesn't matter.
I mean, I'm just thinking about the person at the end of the table, right? Is how many years in law enforcement before you get yours?
30 when I came here.
30 when you came here, right? But if you're starting from scratch at zero as an employee, you could 10 days of, 15 days of PTO as opposed to.
Yeah.
So that's where, to me, the individual employee, so I'm okay.
Yeah, we did it a year ago. The previous council did it with one of our deputies that we just hired back in 2022. Was the same thing. We gave him additional PTO outside of the PTO schedule because of his experience in law enforcement. And it was a lure to hire him here, you know, so.
Okay.
So and there was an individual agreement and the council approved it, so.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'm just trying to push for transparency, but there are individual cases that we obviously don't want. And, yeah, so I'll withdraw this, comment.
Maybe that last sentence too, likewise, the state and federal law where applicable shall instead of control, shall supersede the town handbook, something like that, take the word control out.
Mm-hmm. No,
Yeah, I'm fine with that, chief, if you want to make that change.
Excuse me, for the individual employees, with putting an article in front of the individual employee make a difference with isolating, it might be an individual employee rather than a group of employees. Because the group is under classes of employees within a certain department or interest group. And or if you say the individual employee, which will denote, that there's one employee, single employee who has an interest in, the exception. But that's a matter of semantics that you just need to, think about. But sometimes it's the way you say it. And by putting that article in, will satisfy. About you have a problem with the individual employees.
no, I have a problem. If something is determined for a group, for a department, one department, not the other, for transparency purposes, you want it in the handbook.
Yeah. But classes will denote, say those who have some interest, whatever, in the same department. But for the individual that outlier who comes in and says, well, this is my concern.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just germane to what my issues are.
Okay.
So, but that's just something that you need to think about when you talk about the semantics. And I'm thinking about it legally, how it may be perceived.
Yeah, I'm not aware. So it's hard for you. We can definitely put it in if you have the distinction.
But I'd rather like the whole group to understand, it's just a general understanding, so that if someone, make an inquiry to any individual one of us, that we knew what the gist of it as a whole group, a whole group trying to convey.
Understood.
So change it to or an individual employee.
We can, maybe if you want. So I've been there, I'm gonna change the color.
Okay,
Oh, you can change the color of.
so we differentiate who did what. So,
I think the colors have to do with who put the comment.
yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mike, do you wanna go ahead and?
No, I can read this, so I can read, I'll read one, delete through, Done, good, okay,
Okay, good.
thank you.
And then there,
okay, let's see if I can figure this out.
see that? 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4 colors in this paragraph.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Now, is there a special place that you make the changes? Is it just normal like color? There's no like,
Yeah, if you just go in and start typing it'll recognize you as a different person.
Yeah.
You should assign you to.
are we saying the or and individual? The,
Oh, you're green.
okay. So then check with a red line through that,
Yeah, you just highlight it and delete it.
and it keeps it, and, oh, because of the viewer, okay, thanks,
Good.
thanks.
Green, purple, red, blue. Perfect. All right, severability clause. Yeah. Do we have any issues? Nothing.
Not here.
Very good. On to the ADA and to the ADAA. My only comment here was the language that I've seen, and I had no issue here, it's really more general comment. Yes, it is boilerplate to your point, Mike, but I just I've only seen where this is involved. It's not called out specifically where this handbook is subject to local, state, federal, all laws. That was really what that was all. It's just. My question here, and again, this is more of a thing, but 15 full-time employees, 15 total employees, small, total employees.
Yeah.
Okay, so we definitely, we're doing fine.
I mean, you can have that check, but I'm confident what that's. I've button that.
Well, yeah, you did do a really good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'll respond to leave my comment there.
Yeah.
Next paragraph under the ADA, that's just semantic choice, so just grammatical change.
Mm-hmm.
Are we good with that section? Are we good with anti-harassment?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for me, the statement is that the town work environment is free from all forms of harassment or intimidation, period. Not due to anything, not under circumstances, not under. There's a list of all classes. Whether someone falls into a protected class or doesn't, I would think we would just want to say the affirmative statement that no harassment, no intimidation. That's how. Right.
So, this isn't really, you want to, you think we should remove the definitions, not the first paragraph, right?
Yeah, I think that there should be, I think there should be a period on intimidation. Because then it's a full stop, it's just not allowed really under any circumstances, not.
I can agree with that, but then I think sometimes we have to further explain to some people. They may not understand it as much as we do.
Yeah.
Or we might have to explain various classifications in that.
Yeah.
So maybe we leave some of that in there, but I mean, I agree to your point about the harassment or intimidation period, but then maybe we start the next sentence to include the various classifications. Just so it's there and they review it and they see it. Just my thoughts. I don't know.
Is it anywhere in the protected classes?
Further in the document.
We can leave it. I was just a comment on. Yeah, if we don't feel strongly either way, I think.
Yeah, I think, and I think they have some remarks that I think they should be good for our employees. They should have something to look at to see if someone's gone over the line. These are just general ways you can harass.
Okay, next sentence. Yeah,
Go ahead, Sean. So I do think we should put this sentence in, the definition and examples listed below are not a comprehensive listing of harassing or discriminating behaviors.
I agree, because that was one of the comment, when you start defining things specifically,
Yeah,
then if it's not in here, then it's okay. No.
right, so, right,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
Mhm.
So we'll delete this thread. Good catch, Mike. And then move on to the next page. Into, it's the next page for me, anti-harassment, is just continued. Yeah, and then employees, any individual, but that was just a question. They were talking about non-discrimination, anti-harassment, and in harassment and discrimination, and all of a sudden we have these two definitions of employment. Seemed like it's a strange place to put them, especially when talking about.
Right, yeah, right. I don't know what, yeah, I don't know why these, we have other rules that, I mean, if a contractor comes in and is harassing someone, you don't go to the employee handbook to figure that out. You go to the third party and say your person's harassing our person, right? They're not gonna say what we see again. So I think, I don't know why, I think that should come out. Well, or why would it be in? Maybe we should look at the other. Why would should we have
I
this
guess,
in there?
does it distinguish between where it's taking place, or what you just said, Mike? Did it in our building, or was it somewhere else? I don't know, I'm just hypothesizing.
It doesn't seem like
So I go back to this, I go back to the second sentence in anti-harassment. It will be considered a violation of town of Long Beach policy for any employee or non-employee to engage in any acts of harassment which be led to discriminatory measures. To me, that's a very comprehensive sentence that
And covers this.
doesn't seem, by that, that's the definition.
Is there anything we're missing for why somebody added this at some point, those definitions?
I think
Or is there a different definition area?
my guess is that it is to be specific to include contractors. That would be my guess why it would be there. But that if you're a contractor, it's not allowed, but again, it's covered in previous sentences.
But it doesn't belong in, it's not what is it doing in the employee handbook? We should have an ordinance that says how we're gonna deal with contractors that are.
Is everybody good if I take out the employee, non-employee definitions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Reporting procedure.
Yes.
My question stems from, this is a subsection, again, non-discrimination. Is this how you report non-discrimination, or is this how you're reporting any issue?
Yes, I believe it should be a procedure. A separate procedure.
So it's because it's saying any incident of harassment at the top,
Yeah, and I'm just wondering,
or the incident?
is in any violation of this handbook, employee, we should have a process to which the employee can report.
And maybe this is reporting procedure, maybe under here is, go see appendix A, reporting an, incident or, problem, how to resolve something about, and it covers all these different things, right? Who do I go to? But is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if, what is there's a violation here. So how do we want to resolve this? Do we want to keep this here, and I'm just gonna make a list of,
And promises that need work.
So the last time we did the handbook back in 2021, we specifically added the last section there. If the department head is involved in the employee's complaint, the employee should report the incident to the department's commission or advisory board. That was newly added last time. Otherwise, the policy was directed for employees to immediately report it to their individual department head.
a clear problem.
And
Yeah, I'm definitely okay with that language. I'm just reporting procedures as its own section. So,
Go ahead.
Yeah, but I just add something to the board. There are policies that have been laid out, I guess in the past 10 years, whereby any employee who sees that there's some sort of harassment or, or abuse going on, that there's certain parts of that, those who are employed are duty bound to report it. And they're duty bound to report first to the department head and, or whoever that's not available, but that department head is obligated on pains of being terminated or being involved in that abuse, to report that and move it forward. I know, for example, I observed another faculty member when, the assistant leaned over to pick something up. She came behind the assistant and touched her, and she was leaning over. I was obligated at that point, that I had to go, had to go to the meeting, had to go in the different reports. And if I hadn't, I could have been fired or been, working for counsel or to listen to things,
I mean, that's a strict no tolerance, right?
yeah, sure, no time. And I had to tell her supervisor, who was standing right there, that you have to report along with me. She begged for us not to report it, but we were obligated to report. So that was something that's in our handbook and was written down so that everybody knew what their duty and responsibility was when there was such an act, any act, that was taking place. So this makes it very kind of, that is up to the assistant, up to the employee himself. But if anybody who sees that going on, then they might ask Mr. Well, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to, be involved in this. But there should be made, that someone should feel that they have to, if they see.
Yeah, and I agree, and to the extent, I'm just gonna make a list of things that we're gonna actually have to revisit. And the reporting procedure that includes, that's about everything. And it's a strict 100% no tolerance type of thing, we're probably gonna have to create.
And that's what you can say, it's a 100% no,
Well, in your, I believe what you said is absolutely right. Problem you come into is, what is it perceived as? If this person came behind the person, just merely bumped them as they were going by, then you'd say,
there was an incident.
Oh, it was intentional?
This was bad, it's still, and it's
Oh, right, that's what, yeah, so, I mean, a lot of it has to do with how it's perceived. Someone says something, they go, well, that's not right. I think it is. Well, you think it is, then it is. That's how it works, right?
So let's parking lot this, we'll put this on, and then move to the next section, equal opportunity, equal employment opportunity.
Mhm.
And again, I just found that last section of the second paragraph of town will comply with all local, state, and local governing, local laws governing non-discrimination in employment. For me, I like the blanket statement, just town will comply with all local, state, and local laws, federal. Actually, we need to.
Yeah. Like once you add federal, then you got everything in there.
Well, it just, yeah. As I said before, this is for a small organization, and sometimes you're better off listing all these things instead of lumping it into one and no one knows what you're talking about. But,
That's fine, I can leave it, but I did put it in federal.
Excuse me, any other changes in laws or proposed some changes in discrimination laws? And that's something that we might want to look at if we know a lot of if they're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
HR law was a very dynamic
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah.
That's me again, as a reporting procedures. It's just changes.
And I'm not gonna agree with the source.
Yeah. On to employee hiring. Before changes, okay, employee hiring. I just put it in two steps. Before it was kind of just all smashed together, in paragraph form.
There used to be a process document for hiring. Mark, do you know, is it still used or is it not used? Or?
It is, it's similar to what's outlined here. We go to the council, get approval, post the opening. And then once the opening's posted, the applicants are required to fill out the application and then a formal interview process begins. Once we narrow down which applicants are going to be afforded the opportunity for an interview.
And then I guess my question would be, is it better to have that living document over here? Like you currently do that checklist so that if it needs to be modified and such a detailed level of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 removed, so that.
I think it should be referred to as an addendum. Here's the current checklist that we would propose. And then you can do, the addendum can change.
Is it an addendum, appendix, or
Whatever, yeah.
what exhibit?
Yeah, no,
That.
My preference would be to leave it as it is now outlined in here. It's pretty simple. As far as, the process that we follow now. I don't want to see us getting too many addendums, at the end where
Yeah.
people may not pay attention to and So,
Well, I'd like to take it to dig up the old, process we had and present that, see if it's, I think it's a little more detailed.
I think everybody's happy for you to assign yourself as.
Okay, this is, yeah, because there's been, historically, there's been issues with this whole process. Groups, departments are hiring people that nobody knew about. It was, so
I missed that last comment, Mike, they're hiring people what?
that, like the town council didn't know about. They would hire someone and pay them something that wasn't approved by the town council and things like that. So I think the checklist would cover the problems. Did you cover all that?
Well, I mean, it can be, we can change the sentence again to
Yeah.
as processes outlined and enumerate here. And say that the checklist, we can come back to this and say, checklist can be more restricted per department. If we'd like.
I think we still keep it consistent across the board, so we're all treating it the same way.
Yeah.
Saying one of the issues was I think it was the park board previously. Park board approved certain salary positions or hourly rates that the council wasn't aware of that conflicted to what, say, clerks were getting paid in the town hall, and then there became some animosity.
Right.
That's some of the history that I know of.
Right.
So, but we've kind of corrected that with the process we have in place now, that with the salary ordinance and the council's input, everything goes before the council. They approve it before we even offer the position to somebody. The salary is kind of, authorized by the council. So,
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And then the last sentence that I added is just again grammatical changes. Okay, immigration law compliance. It is 6, that's a short one. We can get through this.
And then I'm just going to add some new business, if that's okay, at
So,
some point.
yeah, and we'll be here after this section.
Okay.
Okay, this was just my comment, again, authorized to work in the United States. I don't think that it was just how far we want to be okay with consent.
We're gonna follow, yes, this is fine.
Okay, so we're good with the immigration law compliance, with the language as is here. Okay, great. Okay, I think just to summarize what we've accomplished today, we've gone through the introduction and the non-discrimination sections with a parking lot. We're gonna go reporting procedures when we get to unfinished business. And then we will start reviewing employment status and merit section, and then for next meeting, also review employee responsibility.
Yeah.
Does that summarize our work?
Yeah, I'm gonna send in a hiring process to just review and see if it has anything first.
Okay. Meg, did you want?
Okay, so I had mentioned just with Mike Concept on our way in here that he had previously done some work on job descriptions. And we currently have many of those uploaded to the town website. Also, I've got this binder that includes most of them, but I'm already noticing that there are 2, actually there's Public Works, maybe I missed one, but I know there's at least one missing. And bear with me here.
While Meg's looking at that, earlier today, I reached out to the town's previous HR consultant, Pam Krieger. And I asked Pam to forward to us in Word document the previous job descriptions in case we wanted to make any, changes to any of them. I emailed everyone the zip drive that she sent to me, so hopefully you can open those and have access to them as well.
And when were those from?
She's the one that assisted in the preparation of some of them and the changes in the last probably 18 months.
Okay. So what I wanted to bring up for this board's attention, we have employees that are considered full-time, that work a certain amount of hours. And then we have an employee that is considered part-time, who works the same amount of hours. I believe there's some history to all of those positions. I'm just bringing it up as clerk. I don't make the decision to amend those things, but I'm just bringing it up for the attention. In my opinion, it's just trying to be consistent with how we classify these positions and how they are treated. So the reason this came to my mind is I had to become familiar with the Indiana retirement website and the one employee it does not work 80 hours. So when we get to that section of the handbook, this would come up anyways, but is considered full-time and gets benefits. According to PERF, when I called, if you work 1,000 hours a year, which comes out to roughly 19 hours per week, you could be enrolled. If we consider somebody full-time, then they are required to be enrolled in PERF. So our one employee, because of, I don't know why, but the prior administration, maybe it was overlooked, was never added into the PERF system. So I just want this committee to consider these things and possibly come up with a recommendation to the council.
It's same job, just part-time ones.
They're not the same job, not the same department. Do you want me to give more detail? Is that appropriate?
Yeah, so I think for the part-time position, can someone pull out the hours for the past 3 or 4 quarters?
I actually know them both.
Okay,
Give or take 60 hours for both positions.
but
It's give or take right around 60 hours per paycheck, so 30 hours per week for both.
documentation.
I do. I'm not in front of me, but I can get. I
Yeah,
can get-
so that's what I'm saying, if you could bring it and show us the last 3 or 4 quarters,
Okay.
that may, when we look at it, okay, well, this is obvious.
Okay,
And plus the intention, the person that works, yeah.
Well, and
well, the issue that I see is we have an employee that works 60, who is considered full-time and is currently receiving full-time benefits,
Oh,
but is not in the PERF retirement system. We have another employee, they're both paid similarly, work similar hours, who is considered part-time, who has no benefits and is also not in the system.
then can you bring the
So,
last 3 or 4 quarters for both of those, we can look at and figure out the.
and the corresponding, I think the corresponding job description.
well, so we don't, I tried looking. There are no just job descriptions,
Doesn't matter.
possibly the one has one.
Which,
It's more, in my opinion, it's more a classification, which would be a change. And it's also addressing the financial, ramification of doing an adjustment for a year of employment when she's been classified full-time the whole time, but has not received her retirement pension benefit,
Meg, which
if that
job,
makes sense to everyone.
Okay.
what job description are we missing?
I think we're missing, the building department.
Which
The other
one?
one I see.
There's a job description for
Okay, so some of these, Mark's thinking there might be job descriptions that I just don't have. So
Okay. Good.
So that is good, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so job descriptions, 3 to 4 quarters of hours, is that what we said?
Yeah.
Okay, and job descriptions,
Just
I
that.
love it.
right,
We did.
yep. Mhm. Okay, and that was all, yeah,
Okay.
that kind of rolls into, I think it's just yeah, so, you know, things happened that led to all of this, I believe. I'm just more concerned with going forward
Yeah.
and consistency on
Sure. Yeah, that's right.
how employees and positions and classifications are handled.
And what it comes down to, just to kind of help with Meg's explanation, is that the one employee was hired as a new employee, 30 hours a week, 60 hours a pay period, but was classified as a full-time employee, full-time benefits, because that employee was looking for healthcare insurance. And then the other employee was hired part-time, less than 30 hours to begin with, but her hours were eventually increased to about 30 hours every week, but was hired under general part-time classification. So there's two different classifications, hence why the part-time one did not get full-time benefits. But now that the one that was hired working 20 hours is now working 30 hours a week, the employee feels that they should be treated the same as the other employee who's working 30 hours and have their classification changed. So
The other side of this, what does the employer want? How many hours does the employer want the people who work?
the budgets are set at $30 or 30 hours per week, 60 hours per pay period. So
That's ours, so
that's how we set the budget for this year. Mhm.
So,
That's one of the reasons why an audit of these positions, along with the evaluation, the annual evaluation can, bring up those kind of things, you know? Because if that employee feels that they are, aggrieved by the situation, they can make some complaint. And then we'll look, I've been working all this time, before it's true or not. But nowadays, you just have to be careful and be,
Well, the issue has to be resolved.
yeah, yeah.
Have to be addressed.
yeah, it's good facts and we have
Figure out how we do that.
and I think it rolls into our working on the handbook, which states full-time is 80 hours, which is not how the one employee is being handled right now. So I believe that section stated anything under 80 hours was part-time, so that will just need some more on that section, in my opinion, unless I read it wrong, but
We'll get to that, yeah. I think you're bringing that up.
and I'll work with Mark if he has more job descriptions, I'll try and get that consistent and make that a project, unless that's a project that we work on. Are we missing any, do any of them need to be updated by department heads?
Okay. All right, motion to adjourn.
So,
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
They might.